Of course, her future in government is in doubt now, really hanging in the balance over a row about how much tax she should have paid when buying a new second home. It's reported that she avoided £40,000 in stamp duty, which she's admitted was a mistake, and said she considered resigning over it. In the last hour, though, it's been reported that Angela Rayner's house has been graffitied with the words tax evader. Yesterday, Keir Starmer backed his deputy and said in Parliament he's proud of her work as Housing Secretary and as someone who's come from a working class background. Speaking last night, one of Rayner's Labour colleagues, the Tech Secretary, also had this to say.
I see Angela being treated very differently to lots of other people. Whatever walk of life you're in, public life or not, you should be free to live and spend your spare time wherever you please. And it is right that somebody from Angela's background should be as aspirational as anyone else about having somewhere that she spends on a Sunday or in her spare time or in the school holidays so she can spend time with her kids as anyone else. And just because it is Angela with her accent and her background, people are treating her in a way they wouldn't that if a Tory MP who was born in wealth had a second home, which many of them do already.
Cripes, you may think that's a bit rich. Nobody was trying to say where she could or could not spend her spare time. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch as far as I'm concerned. Nobody said she must be confined to quarters and never leave Ashton-under-Lyne. I don't think that was the issue, where she spends her spare time. But what do you think about this one? Do you think Angela Rayner is being treated differently, more harshly because of her background, because of her accent? Let's start with you, Nicola.
I do. Now, obviously, we all agree that she should have paid the correct stamp duty. She's held her hands up. She said she was misadvised. I'm not here to say whether I think she was or wasn't. It's not my business. But, she's
well,
held...
Well, it kind of is your business because she's the Deputy Prime Minister. That's why it's all our business.
But she is saying she was misadvised and she will pay the money. I believe her. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Do I think that the way she gets treated is unfairly because she's a woman and because of the way she speaks? 100%. The graffiti on her building wasn't just tax avoider or whatever it said, evader. It was a word which is derogatory for a woman. If this was a man, would there be a derogatory word from a man graffitied on the property? No, it wouldn't be. I think that if you look at the press that she's had and continues to get throughout her time, there is a lot about her background, about where she's from, about her being a teenage mum. She is treated unfairly because of the way she speaks. Now, with all of us here, I definitely am the most common.
Oh, so goodness. You're extremely rare and unusual. I wouldn't say you're common in the slightest.
I'm common. I'm from a council estate. I am common. I'm happy to be common. And, I can definitely see that there is a difference in the way you are treated when you speak like me than when you speak like someone else. So I think that personally, I really believe she is treated differently. Have we got a right to be cross that she didn't pay the stamp duty? Yes, we have. Have we got a right to be cross that that the government are saying that there shouldn't be second homes and tax people that that own their homes? Yes, we should be when she's going out and getting this beautiful second home that we can't afford and she's not paying the correct. Yes, we should be cross and that's fine. But do I see the way the media speak about her and treat her because of her background and the fact she's a woman? I don't think anyone can argue that.
OK, what would you say if I suggested that she's made enormous mileage out of exactly those two things? A, being working class. I'm working class. I've had it tough, which she definitely has.
Yeah.
I came up the hard way, which she definitely did. I was a single mum at 16. Can't take that away from her. But boy, has she used that background story, hasn't she, to give a big message, which is, you can identify with me. I get you. I'm an ordinary person. I've had it hard. I've had it just as hard as you. So she's made an enormous ton of mileage out of that. Don't you think?
I do think that, but I also think that's a defence because she's going to get it. Everyone's going to have dragged that all up anyway, so she says it first. And yes, of course she's using it as mileage, but it's true, isn't it? Now she's living an extremely privileged life, but she wasn't. So she does know.
Let's bring out Lowri in on this. What do you see? And I must start by asking what you think of what Peter Kyle said. It's not against the law to have a holiday home. She's allowed to go wherever she likes at weekends. Is anyone saying she shouldn't?
I think that's a load of old twaddle. The thing that I feel is that, I think she's used her background to create a kind of hero's journey for herself, to make herself this working class hero, because she wants to lead the Labour Party, although that looks a bit doubtful now. I think that the issue for her is that she's the housing minister. That means she gets treated differently. And the issue is that we have a pattern of behaviour here. There was all the trouble about her having bought her council house, sold it at a profit, and then wanting to change the rules so other people couldn't do that. So that smacks of hypocrisy. Then there was this idea of that she had her council house she bought and then her first husband's council house that they'd bought, and where was she living, and she seems to be swapping her primary residence in terms of council tax in a dizzying array. Now we've got a trust. Now we understand obviously she has a disabled son, and that's a very difficult situation, but I have a sibling who's disabled, and my parents didn't set up a trust for that person. The insinuation is that she has expensive accountants who are juggling things for her, and lawyers clearly, she only pays the minimum in tax. Well, she represents a party and a government who believe that it's a good thing to be seen to be paying tax, that it's not about how little I can get away with. It's about, she tells us all, we have public services that have to be paid for. So in my view, she should have stepped forward and said, no, I'm going to pay that tax because I believe that tax funds the NHS, funds education, things that she says she believes in. It's the hypocrisy and trying to use her class to defend her. It doesn't wash, it won't wash with the British people, I don't think.
How's it playing for you? Because obviously it's quite true. The Prime Minister comes straight in and says, I stand shoulder to shoulder, I admire her, I respect her, working class. But of course he's the son of a tool maker, as he tells us, every 2 minutes or so, just in case any of us might have had the chance of forgetting that. I don't know how often I sit here and say my father ran a one-man band underwear business. I probably say it, once a week, maybe. Why do I say it? I suppose I say it for the same reason, to say I may talk a bit posh, but I'm not really posh. Yeah. I get what it's like to, live in a family where, your dad pays your private school fees, but it's all a bit touch and go. And he might come with a few crisp oncers that he just got by selling brushed nylon pyjamas at Petticoat Lane Market. If I say it's probably for the same reason, so I get it. But is it an excuse, though?
Look, here's the thing. I think the working class thing, I kind of agree with you. She has made it her selling point. Well, I understand you because of it. I think the sort of insidious part of it is that kind of what you're saying is she's almost seen to be pulling the ladder up behind her. I want to sell my council house, but then I'll change the law behind me so you can't do it. Oh, I want to have 2 homes, but then I'm going to change the law so no one else can have 2 homes. I was talking about this with one of my teenagers, with my only teenager yesterday, and he was saying, well, a lot of there's a thing now about don't have 2 homes because people think, oh, you've got a holiday home. But actually, she's proof that no, what's happening now is this nesting thing where couples separate for whatever reason, and then they say, well, we can't afford 2 family homes, we'll keep this one, and we'll have a flat over here, and we'll rotate. And I think that the fact that she's seen to be trying to close those things behind her is not empathetic to the people that she's saying that she is representing. I would also say, are you being treated differently? I remember when all of that stuff happened with Rishi Sunak and his wife and the non-dom thing. I mean, I think it's just, if you're in government, you're seen to not be playing it straight.
With his wife, that was with his wife. If it was just, it's because it was a woman involved as well, in my opinion.
But do you remember Nadeem Zahawi and the trouble he got into about, that was tax too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was tax.
And Angela Rayner was front and centre in telling him that he should resign.
And that's another example of what Liz has identified as a very sort of flagrant hypocrisy, because if you're going to be the person criticising other people extremely vibrantly, I mean, we all know that one of the things people love about her is a vibrant, you might say, colourful language. So we know that she used the phrase Tory scum, but when she criticises people, she really goes for it big time. And then we've got all those clips of her doing it. Then we've got her saying, oh, sorry, I took advice, the advice was wrong, I'm very upset, I feel dreadful. Let's go to Dawn in Devon. Dawn, how do you feel about this one?
Well, yes, I do feel that there is this thing that if you're working class, you must stand up for Labour no matter what the politician does.
Right.
And if you're not working class, then stand up for Conservatives. But I do feel sorry for her on a human level. But in the same way, I felt sorry for David Cameron. When he left office, you remember he said, I have had to do this for my family, when his child died. Now, she's a politician, Angela Rayner, and as a politician, I feel she must be a very intelligent woman to get to where she's got.
True.
But if she was as housing minister, but when she was buying this house, she should have made sure that everything was correct, no room for error, because in politics she must know how this was going to work out if she lost credibility.
Right, and
she
Dawn,
has lost-
as it's quite clear she didn't do that, she didn't. Do you think that shows that maybe she lacks whatever those special, indefinable qualities are that we need in a leader? And therefore, by doing this and behaving in the way that she did, and nobody made her do it, she chose to do it. You don't have to take the advice of an expensive lawyer or a cheap lawyer. You can decide to take it or not take it. That was up to her. Do you think that this has shown she wouldn't be fit to be Prime Minister? Or does your forgiveness extend to thinking, well, she'd probably be fine?
Forgive that. She has to be a certain type of person to work this, and she's lost credibility.
Thank you very much, Dawn. Appreciate the call. I'm going to move on, Dawn. Thank you so much, just because we've got so many calls on this. Let's go to Dee. Dee's in London. Dee, do you feel that there's a certain element of snobbery operating here, or do you think she's just getting what she deserves?
Yes, in the beginning I started to feel a bit sorry for her, but yeah, listening to Lowri, the trail of discrepancies that she made, I'm beginning to change my mind now, funny enough, because, it may be something to do with her class, but then she has brought it on herself. I mean, again, what Lowri said, I agree with completely. So I have changed my mind. But also, Vanessa, I'm really upset you've changed your set.
Oh, the pink sofas. Well, I feel the same.
Yeah.
I love them, Dee.
Me too.
Wasn't my choice.
That colour, the colour you have now, that beautiful dress that you're wearing, it spoils it. That dark fabric spoils your
dress,
vibrant,
the sofa.
your vibrant personality as well. You dress out your personality, to suit your personality.
Oh, well, it's too late now. We've given those pink sofas, I think, to a hospice, and they're very pleased with them, and we've moved on. I suppose it's autumnal now, and we're all going into the dark teal, but I still lament the passing of the pink sofas. I totally agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more. Lots of love, Dee. Thank you very much indeed. Let's get to the important issues every day of the week. Let's talk to Howard. Howard's in Lincolnshire. Howard, you look at Angela Rayner. Do you think this is not fair? It's because she's working class. It's because she's got a regional accent. Maybe even, as Nicola said, it's because she's a woman. What do you think?
Hi, Vanessa. Hi, panel.
Hi.
So basically, I don't actually think whether she's working class or not, or her accent, where she's from. I actually don't think this boils down to any of that. I think what we're dealing with is a fine prime example of just another politician that knew what they were doing, had the arrogance to think they were going to get away with it. Here we are, she's been exposed, and all we're getting now is excuse. And for me personally, in my opinion, it's just another feather in the cap of embarrassment of the Labour government.
And tell me two things. Number one, why do you think the Prime Minister is sticking by her? And number two, do you buy her explanation / excuse, which is, I took advice, it's a mistake, I made a mistake? Or do you think she deliberately sought the advice and then she decided to take it? That's not a mistake.
Yeah, like I think one of your previous callers said, I think the whole, the legal advice, and she took maybe the wrong advice, etc. Like one of your previous callers said, she's an intelligent woman. She wouldn't be a politician otherwise. So I just think it's all excuses, smoke and mirrors that we're dealing with. I think she's trying to dig her way out of a very, very, very deep hole. As for why the Prime Minister is sticking with her, the only question in response to that comes to my mind is, if he was to get rid of her, who really, in the grand scheme of things, would be a suitable, dare I say, better replacement for her?
Well, lots of people are saying Wes Streeting. I don't know whether you think that's a good idea. Wes Streeting?
I mean, yeah, he seems to maybe know what he's doing maybe a bit more than anybody else in the Labour Party, and I do include the Prime Minister in that. So, yeah, maybe he'd be a good replacement, but I don't know. Sir Keir Starmer, is he maybe a bit too weak to get rid of her? I mean, I
don't think he can get rid of her because she has huge backing on the left wing of the party. Yeah,
yes, the unions are big fans of Angela Rayner.
He's probably happy someone else is getting the flack and not him.
Yes.
He's a lovely little shield there.
You know what
I would just say? I do think the most damning thing about this whole thing is that she is the second most senior person in the country. Mm-hmm. She's gone and got top-notch legal advice, and she's still, if we're to believe her, messed up her taxes. That proves our tax system is far too complicated. If she came out and said, look, I've fallen foul of this, I'm going to sort this out, I'm going to go and speak to the Chancellor right now, we're going to make the tax system so much simpler, I would have a lot more sympathy for it. Like, oh, you know what? Yeah, okay, we'll all benefit from your mistake. We're gonna simplify the tax.
How would you feel if instead of saying I took the absolute highest, most exclusive advice I possibly could have, and it's their fault because they gave me the wrong advice, not my fault, I'm blameless and blameless. If she had said I tried to work this out myself round the kitchen table, you know, I took out my slide rule, and you know, I was sucking my pencil and my pair of compasses, and you know, I thought this was okay, but now I find it wasn't. I got it wrong.
No,
what do you think of that?
I bought a house recently, and you jump through so many legal hoops, you know, verifying who you are, endless stuff about where the money's come from. I don't believe that you would be able to sit at your kitchen table with an envelope and work it out. I don't. I think that she has a trust, and that trust will be administered by a group of experts, and they will have given her legal advice. She has very good legal advice and accountancy advice. So I don't know whether they said to her, well, it's a grey area, you might be okay, you might not be okay. We don't know
what. You can't do grey areas, though, if you're the Deputy Prime Minister, you can't do grey areas, can you?
I lost even more respect for her, though, when she went on Sky and did that kind of tearful. I thought, oh my God, are there any women who can just, like, when the going gets tough, you don't weep because that makes you think that people will like you more. You know, pull yourself together, take responsibility and take the flak, but don't go all kind of tearful. I mean, this is a woman who goes around calling Tories scum. You know, she's not the tearful, you know, oh, poor little me. That really made me dislike her.
Let's talk to Gladys. Gladys is in Cheshire. Hello, Gladys. Thanks for calling. What do you think?
Well, to put it bluntly, she knew what she was doing. She's in a responsible job, and when you've done wrong, you should pay the consequences. All right. Oh, by the way, I'm not common.
I wouldn't have dared to suggest you were, Gladys. I'm sure you're not.
I were born like this anyway, but I speak the truth. And if I'd done something wrong, then I would pay for it. And thank God I never have done. But she knows she's wrong. She should be paid for it. Actually, she's very lucky to be able to go for a flat for 800,000. Yeah. For £40,000 tax is peanuts to her. But she has legal advisors and everything else. She knew what she was doing. The girl was wrong.
Does that mean you think that she hasn't got long as Deputy Prime Minister? And if Sir Keir Starmer does, as Lowri says, feel he's really pretty much got to stick by her because she's so enormously popular, not just with voters, but also with the unions who wield a great deal of power, will you think less of him for doing that?
Well, let me put it this way. When I first came on the programme, they were told me not to swear.
Oh, don't.
Right.
Please
so I'm
don't.
not going to swear.
Don't.
But there's a word for it where you could look to somebody and you keep on the right side of somebody.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And she's his mouthpiece as well. Right. So I'm blaming him as well. Get you a shopping order. You should know what your workmates are doing. Right?
Yes.
And I mean, he's making a cock up of everything else. So what do you expect? He's making another one of this one.
Gladys, fabulous conversation, beautifully forthright, just as you said you would be. Thank you so much for ringing.